Can you state your full name for the record and spell your last name, please?
Valera Hayen, Hayen.
I'm going to have you pull that mic really close so we can all hear you. Ms. Hayen, were you in the room this morning when I went through the penalties for perjury?
Yes.
And do you understand what perjury is?
Yes.
And being advised of the potential penalties for perjury, do you promise to tell the truth in this case today? All right, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Jordy.
Ma'am, orientate the commission, please, to where your land in question that's potentially affected is located. And just talk real kind of close to that microphone if you can.
My land is in Sargent County in Jackson Township, and it's a low range of hills between Cogswell and Oaks.
And ma'am, do you live near the land in question?
Yes, I do. I live along County Road.
All right, and so would you would live near to where this proposed pipeline would be located?
The pipeline is going to go about approximately 500 feet from my house.
All right, and you described this as a low-lying area. Were you here earlier when we talked about CO2 being heavier than air?
The pipeline path is in a low range of hills.
All right. Does that concern you in terms of any safety or risk features living in a lower lying area?
Yes.
All right. And has Summit contacted you about any waiver or any of your concerns given that your home is so near the potential pipeline?
No, they haven't.
I know you prepared, ma'am, a few items, a few topics. If you just want to walk through some of your other concerns for the commission.
The first thing is safety. My land up in the hills has limited access. There are no maintained road, or in an off-road portion of it is environmentally sensitive. Access could be unsafe in and of itself. We do not go up there after a hard rain, and it is blocked by snow in the winter. Small or any leak could harm or kill people, livestock, and wildlife. There are 2 cattle ranches located, one to the south and one to the north, which would be affected. Another thing, my land is native prairie. It's been maintained many years to preserve native plants and grasses, blue stem, crocuses, coneflowers, yellow-headed daisies, and prairie smoke, and possibly many more that have not been identified. Driving on or digging through would cause permanent damage, and the virgin prairie would be gone forever. On the southwestern part of this pasture, there are Native American artifacts in teepee rings, hunting campsites, and grave site within the path of this pipeline, and possibly more than what I know. These would also be destroyed. I told them that I didn't want anything to do with it and to find another route.
Ma'am, in terms of, now have you been in that area your whole life?
Yes, I have.
And do you have personal firsthand knowledge relative to the Native American cultural artifacts in that immediate area?
Yes, I do.
And what is that based on?
I've been up there, there's teepee rings, you can see them. And when I first moved there, I never noticed it and stuff, but there's an area farmer who's really interested in that, and he came up there and he showed it to me.
In terms of native prairie, have you in your life observed where native prairie is destroyed and then it's attempted to be restored but never gets back to the way it was?
Well, it'll never be virgin prairie again.
That's certainly impossible, right? And is that one of your main concerns, that you've worked hard to preserve this the way that native is?
Yes.
And has Summit contacted you to attempt to work around any of your concerns?
They wanted me to allow a survey, and I didn't agree to a survey.
And is that because part of the survey would allow them to potentially trench, drill, and dig upon your land?
I just don't want them up there. Even driving on it is not good for it.
Okay, understood. Is there anything else specifically about your property or the immediate area around it that you want the commission to know about?
Well, when they asked permission for the survey and I didn't sign, now they've sued me. And I haven't heard anything more about that yet. And then we have zoning in our township. And the pipeline is in violation of our zoning. It's a half a mile, should be a half a mile from any residence. And I'm only 500 feet.
And were you here today when I asked Mr. Powell relative to the setbacks that Burleigh County put in place if they were going to reroute or apply for a new permit, and he said they weren't? Were you here for that?
Yes.
And do you have any confidence that they're going to take into account your local zoning ordinances?
I don't have any idea.
All right. Do you think that if the county has placed ordinances in place designed to state how land should be used and should not be used in the county, that a pipeline company like this should follow those rules?
Yes.
All right. And do you believe those rules are designed to protect people like you that have a home approximately 500 feet from this proposed hazardous pipeline?
Yeah. And if our laws don't mean anything, if our zoning doesn't mean anything, I don't know.
Ma'am, anything else at all for today?
I think this is a for-profit organization, and it violates my property rights. And who will be the next company that wants my land? I depend on this land for my livelihood.
And are you widowed?
Yes.
Okay. And you depend on this land to live, right?
Yes.
All right. And you're concerned if this goes through, that could affect your livelihood?
Yes, it could.
All right. I don't have anything further. Thank you.
Mr. Malberg, any questions?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Pelham, any questions?
No.
Mr. Shook? Commissioner Chrisman?
Valera, could you tell me the legal description of your land?
Well, we've got the native plants is south half of the southwest quarter, 11-130-58.
13058?
Yes. And then my home, my home is in section 12, township 130, range 58.
Would you like to go around the horn and let me find the page and I
Sure.
can follow up?
Commissioner
And then,
Hogan Hoffer? Oh, go ahead.
The native plants and cultural is in section 15, township 130, range 58.
Go ahead.
I have a question. I understand when you have concerns about allowing a surveyor to drive on your property, it could further damage.
Mhm.
My question for you is, you indicate that there's a cemetery, native artifacts there. Do you think if you allowed someone to walk on your land, that they would recognize that you have these things on your land? And with things were historical, that they could not go through that area?
If they route this away from my house, they won't be able to go through that land.
Because,
We won't have a way, a pass through there. My land is, and my neighbor, neither one of us assigned.
okay, I guess I was getting at that you were expressing that there's a lot of historical things you want to preserve.
Mhm.
And by not allowing them on your land to survey, I was just wondering if by allowing them to be there on it, that they would see
It
that.
just seems to me, once you allow a survey, they don't even give you a chance to get route away from you at all. So I said no survey.
Okay, thank you. No further questions. Mr. Dawson, any questions?
How large is the area of native prairie acre-wise?
Be 80 acres, I think.
And how far away is your home?
I'm half a mile. I'm on the county road.
Unless I see a map, I have no further questions.
Commissioner Chrisman, did you find your map?
I believe I did, Your Honor. And so if I'm looking at this right, what I'm presuming to be your home is kind of in the northwest corner of the southwest quarter of Section 12, right? Sound right?
Yeah.
But the pipeline is up in the northwest quarter.
Well,
It's north of your home.
It's right northwest of my house.
And you say that's about 500 feet.
Yeah.
And the county road you're referring to goes north and south there on the section
Yes.
line.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions.
You redirect, Mr. Jordy?
No, thank you.
Great, thank you. See you.